What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The David Lopez Show, presented by Passion Park ENT. I'm excited to be back as always. Hope you all had a good week. Hope you all had a good holiday. I guess the last time I talked to you was literally on Thanksgiving Day. The last week episode came out then, so I hope you all enjoyed that. Got to eat some food, enjoy some time with whoever you got to be with, or maybe it was via Zoom or in real life, but obviously an interesting Thanksgiving with the way everything's going this year with 2020, but I hope it went well and is memorable for you in a good way, in a good sense of it. I got to eat a bunch of food, so that was good. I think we're just getting rid of like the last little bit of turkey that we had. We had, leftovers lasted for a while, so that was good. I had a good time, got to see my parents and stuff, so I was happy about that. Tried to stay as safe as we could, so I want to promote that. But I hope you all got to enjoy your Thanksgiving. And now I'm back to talk, more sports like we always do. And we got, it's so weird. Thanksgiving ends, it's immediately Christmas season. We already had our Christmas lights up here because there's a bunch of time, and my wife was like, why not? Well, let's put them up. But it's just Christmas season everywhere now, and it's the year is flying. Then we just posted our Spotify year wrapped. Everybody was posting those yesterday. Which already makes it feel like the year's over. I understand there's a month left. It's like, wow, we're already at New Year's Eve. It's almost 2021. Kind of crazy. Time flies. I talk about it all the time, but it just really is crazy. We're already there. And I'm going to briefly mention the Spotify rap stuff because I have just a couple things I want to touch on that. But before we get into the episode and all that, the first thing I got to bring up, and I'm really, really, really excited about, is this upcoming Monday is December 7th. Do you know what that means? That means that our new podcast, The Passion Park Experience, is premiering. That is right. Monday, December 7th, actually at 7 a.m. I have it scheduled to publish the first episode. And then following that, every single Monday at 7 a.m., I have episodes scheduled to be released. I am super excited to get the show going. They are essentially like 20 to 30-minute episodes with where I talk about a little bit of my music, and then I play some interview highlights that I had with artists, and then play some of their songs. And like I said, I've already had a couple episodes done, and I think they're pretty good and entertaining. So I hope you enjoy those. I'll just say it right here. The first episode is an artist who's been on this show before. It's by the name of the Kid Phrase, my homie, a friend of mine. We had a great conversation. We get to break down some of his songs, and so I play some of those clips. And he just had a song drop this week. It's called Fall For You. And that's part of the reason that he's the first episode release, is that we want to promote that song right away. As I want to be a place where artists can come promote their new records. So shout out to the Kid Phrase. Make sure you go check out Fall For You, and stay tuned for Monday's episode of The Passion Park Experience, only available on Spotify and Anchor. Obviously, this podcast is available anywhere you get podcasts, but the Passion Park Experience only available on Spotify because we're playing songs, and Spotify allows that, where you can just play the song straight through in the episode. So I'm really, really excited about that. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be dope. And then with last week's holiday and the Black Friday sales going on everywhere, I still have a Black Friday sale going on in our merch store. Honestly, I have a sale that'll be going on the rest of the year. That'll be if you get any of my albums on my website. Go to www.thedavidlopez.com. They're all 50% off, and then you get a promo code for a free t-shirt. So if you go to passionparkent.com/store, you will see all of our merch. And you'll also see a embedded Threadless website on there. That's our Threadless merch site, because there's other ways for us to get merch. But on the Threadless site, there's this brand new holiday shirt that I posted last week, and I've had I think 8 people order or something like that. Which is for me is a lot. Like we don't rack up the merch sales here, but when people do buy merch, and it does happen, like I've had a lot of people one-offs buy things here and there, it means the world. It is like almost the best marketing to have anybody walk around in a sweatshirt or a t-shirt that says Passion Park, and especially now with the Santa Claus hat for the holidays. So make sure you get one of those holiday t-shirts. All right, let's get into the show.
David Lopez is the name. It's my show. Welcome to it.
Oh yeah. So I mentioned that I want to just briefly talk about the Spotify year wrap things, because everybody's posting those. I posted mine yesterday. I want to say, first off, thank you to everybody who listens to my music, or who has even listened. You know what I mean? If you've pressed play on any of my songs or anything like that, you guys know I talk about this shit every single week, like how much music means to me and how much this is my life and this is what I love to do. So having other people enjoy it, obviously, is a whole separate feeling of joy that brings me. It really, really does. So I appreciate all those things. It can also be a time for artists who, maybe haven't reached their goal. I mean, all of this is talking about myself. Haven't gotten to where you want to get to, and then you're seeing everybody post these Spotify things, and sometimes it can make you think about yourself, like, oh, this is whack, or whatever. I haven't reached what I want to reach. Why would I even post this? And I just want to say that I can relate to those feelings, like definitely the self-conscious nature of it. And then you're like, people are just posting it to post it. I've seen a lot of people talk about how, these are more promotional tools for Spotify as a company, because it's like, some artists are posting like these like million streams they got, and like if they would post the actual receipts from their DistroKid or TuneCores or whatever, they'd be, let's put it this way, they wouldn't post those receipts because the income they're getting from those streams does not equate. But and that's true, and that's a factor that I want to talk about. But what I want to say is, like, it's important to, like, every step, every milestone, acknowledge it. And what I think, like, I posted mine, and I have some reservations about it, some feelings about it. And I know some other people also, the other reservation and feeling about it is, like, the whole playlist game on Spotify, all that stuff. Like, who's paying for what, who's hooking somebody up and doing this. Like, I don't know. So it's a whole weird game. It's like, oh, you're bragging about something that, whatever. So that's a thought, too, and that's a feeling, and I get it. But what I want to say is, like, these things, what I've been trying to realize is, like, it's for the fans. I'm not saying I have a shit ton of fans or whatever, but the people who listen, like, they need to know that they're appreciated. And however that is consumed, like, you just want to, like, create that relationship. So I actually really like that Spotify has that feature, because I think it's a cool, like if you're a listener, you get your top 5 artists that you listen to. Like, that's a really cool way to keep up with who you're a fan of, and to, like, repost and show the artist, like, hey, look, I'm a fan of you. I'm in the top 0.1% of people who listen to you. Like, I've seen a lot of artists repost that when a fan does that. That's a super cool way, in my opinion, to, like, keep that connection. So I really, I like that feature that they've done. I actually saw this girl tweet on Twitter that, of course she tweeted on Twitter, because where else would you tweet? That she used to work for Spotify, and she came up with the concept for the story. The tweet went pretty viral, so I'm imagining I was trying to read through the thread, and I think it seemed pretty legit that she, like, in one of their meetings, like, came up with the concept of doing these full-on wrapped stories for people. And I thought that was that was interesting, because you don't ever know where those ideas come from internally in a company, but it's clearly been a hit because they've been running with them. And now, like, this year's wrapped story you get in your email is, like, even bigger than I think the previous one. So that's a cool thing. But I just want to say, shout out to all the artists that are putting music out there and being vulnerable and just putting their art out there. Whether it's 1 listen, 100 listens, 1 million listens, you're putting your shit out there, and I think that's important. Well, it's important if you want to do it, but it's, you champion yourself at every milestone. Obviously, don't get complacent, but I think it's important to remember, these are all steps. So I want to say thank you to everybody who's listening to my music. And as I briefly mentioned about, like, the money part, how it equates, I think everybody has heard, where people are like, artists are getting killed, the streams are killing artists, and they're not getting enough money. And it's true. Well, I mean, a lot of people preach about this, but, like, if you own your music, if you own it, you have a better likelihood to get more money, obviously, but you still have to get a lot of streams to make it equate. The point I want to say, that I've said plenty of times, and I'm sure people say it, and I take the support however it comes, but it's just true. If you really want to support an independent artist or some artist that I don't know, that maybe you're in the top 5% of their listens on Spotify or whatever, you're definitely supporting them that way. But the best way to support every artist pretty much is to buy their music directly from them. That's how they get the biggest, cut. That's how they get the most love. And that's how they see the people who buy them, like, so if you buy an album from my website, I get that money. I can see exactly who bought it. I can send you an email. I can reach out to you, whatever it is. So I say artist website, visiting an artist website, or like a site like Bandcamp. I think Audio Mac is a similar one that do things like that. Those kind of sites are really artist friendly. And yeah, you might have to pay a couple bucks to get an artist album, but you know that you're directly supporting them. You own that album for life. You can listen to it offline, obviously. So yeah, there's some, I don't know. I just like to put those out there just in case people forget, because, now we're in such a streaming age. Like when I was growing up, buying albums was the thing. That was how you did it. Now like I talked about in one of the podcasts that I recorded that's going to be coming out in the future, like, I was talking with somebody and was like, yeah, like I get it. Like I'm on the side of fans. Like shit, I stream music all the time and I don't buy every album. Like, cause it's like, all right, I have every album at my disposal for $10 a month via Spotify or Apple. And then now I'm going to go out of the way and spend an extra $10 to buy the album. I basically have it here. I get it. We've made it so easy. So I'm not faulting listeners because I do the same shit. I just want to say it and make it, say out there. Might make an Instagram post about it. I don't know. All right, cool. That was what I wanted on that tip. We're going to get into some sports stuff. Before I jump over to the football stuff, I'll just say it here. I always do my Week 13 picks on the episode, or I do my NFL Week picks on the show. This is Week 13 coming up. It was a very interesting week with the Ravens Steelers getting postponed all the way to Wednesday. And with that being said, I'm recording this on Thursday, and the odds, because there's no Thursday night game tonight because of that Ravens move, and the odds for Week 13 aren't even out yet on my site. Actually, I'm going to turn around and just double check here. Hit a little refresh. It keeps saying check back later. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, put this whole episode up. You're going to get the visuals on YouTube and get the whole normal experience. But I think if you listen to the audio version, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, however you listen to podcasts, I think, the odds are still not up. Gosh darn it. I think what I'll do is I'll just add on the audio only segment where I actually give you guys my picks, just because I don't want to go off the record on one of these weeks. I feel like, my whole goal was to get the whole season. That's what I've been trying to do, stay consistent. So I apologize if you're taking this in on YouTube and you're waiting for the picks. I'm probably gonna have to post those on Spotify because it's Thursday and I am completely busy the rest of today and tomorrow, so I have to record this episode now. All right, well, got those notes out of the way. I'm gonna talk a little basketball and then I'm gonna cry about the Bears and then I'm gonna give you guys my bet and then I'll get out of your hair. Big NBA news. Westbrook got traded. Russell Westbrook got traded from the Houston Rockets to the Washington Wizards for John Wall. John Wall had recently, apparently he just learned that the Wizards decided they were going to build around Bradley Beal, and he was going to be their center point, and Wall was, part of it, but not their center point. He just learned that and got offended, and now he wanted to trade. Mind-blowing some of the egos. This guy hasn't played in 2 years. He's been hurt all the time. Whatever. I like John Wall's game, but he's always hurt. So it was just surprising sometimes to hear that. The Westbrook situation, Westbrook and Harden, we knew they wanted to break it up. They didn't want to play together anymore. That experiment was done. Harden was begging for a trade to the Nets, to Brooklyn. If I'm Houston, I'm doing exactly what Houston's doing, and I'm not trading him. He has 2 years left. If he's going to pull an Anthony Davis and sit out unless he gets traded only to the Nets don't even have enough to give them to make it reasonable. I would not trade him. I would keep him. And they just got John Wall instead of Russell Westbrook. My brother and I were talking last night. Does that make the Rockets better? I think what it does is a little shock. I think what it does is, the odds for the Rockets to win the Western Conference went up yesterday in Vegas. And it's specifically because they think that they have a better chance of keeping Harden. They can keep him either way. They should keep him. I expect them to have John Wall and James Harden going into the season. Now, I don't think that makes them better. I just don't know if it does. I think we've all seen John Wall, great player, hasn't been a winner. Westbrook, also a great player, has flaws in his game, has not been a champion winner, but he has been on successful teams that have gone far, and he has made people around him better. Not always, not everybody loves him playing with him, but we got to be honest, Paul George had a really good year playing next to Westbrook. James Harden still had a good year. Look, what I'm saying is Westbrook can drive somebody to bring out the best version of some because he's so intense. So I think the Wizards will improve more than the Rockets will with this trade. So I think the Wizards win this trade, at least in the short term. I don't know how many years Russ has left to really be the main guy on a squad. I think Bradley Beal is still that guy. But having Russ's energy, seems like a good leader, seems like a good guy in the locker room. Everybody seems to love being his teammate, except for James Harden. I think the Wizards won this deal. It's almost a straight-up deal. I know there was some other moving parts, but it's almost a straight-up deal. I like the Wizards to make the playoffs. They might have been on the verge of like an 8 seed. They were already contesting for an 8 seed this year. I like the Wizards to make the playoffs. I also think part of the deal that's important here is that to me, there's just a higher likelihood Westbrook plays more games than John Wall. John Wall looks to be healthy. I've been seeing all these pickup games he's been playing. He's finally healthy. He just is so injury prone. He's gotten hurt so many times that it's hard for me to see him playing, 60 games. Whereas I think Russell Westbrook has a much higher chance to be playing more games. So like I said, I think the Wizards, this makes the Wizards I'd say maybe between the 6 and the 4 seed in the East. I think it improves them. And I think Bradley Beal is going to have a really big year. I mean, I really like his game, but I think he'll have a big year again, as he had a huge year last year. So I thought that was huge. And then other thing NBA wise, that was a Woj bomb last night, by the way. Like that just came out. I didn't even know. I mean, obviously there was some talks about some of these kind of things, but I didn't know that was the real option. And then Woj just drops the bomb on Twitter, and we all find out. So that was, Woj just doing his thing. And then, so the NBA announced their preseason schedule, and they announced like the Christmas Day games. Really excited about. We got Bucks Warriors and Lakers Mavericks Christmas Day, so that's gonna be really exciting. We're only a couple weeks away from the NBA, man. I mean, the preseason schedule got announced. The Bulls. I wrote these games down here. Yeah, the Bulls play the Rockets. Oh yeah, here I wrote them right here. All right, so it's kind of. I'm sure they're doing this because of COVID, but it also makes sense. They're playing 2 teams for 4 games in preseason. So you're playing 2 teams twice. I would imagine it has to do with traveling and just exposing the same guys to each other rather than exposing to other people. I don't know. I haven't read that. I'm just thinking that. So the Bulls open up the preseason against the Houston Rockets on December 11th, and they play them on the 13th. And then they got the Thunder on the 16th and the 18th. The Thunder, interesting, because Billy Donovan was their coach last year. Now he's the Bulls coach. And then the Rockets just probably seeing Harden and Wall together for the first time will be interesting. I'm just excited to have basketball back. I'm excited to be able to watch the Bulls. I haven't watched the Bulls since last March. Now, even then I was barely watching them because they were really having a terrible year, but I'm interested in our new draft pick. I'm interested in, Billy Donovan. I'm interested in seeing the squad again. We haven't seen them in so long. So, let's bring the Bulls back. Let's go Bulls, baby. I'm expecting the Bulls to be a number 2 seed in the East. No. I'm expecting the Bulls to improve, and that is the lamest prediction you'll ever hear from me. But that's what I'm expecting: is improvement and more production from the young guys, and maybe just some signs. It's too early for me to predict if they're going to make the playoffs or anything. Because I just don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how many guys are going to be out during games this season. It's going to be weird because we have to remember last year we got spoiled with the bubble because they had to do that. They're not doing the bubble, so that means that there are going to be more COVID situations happening, kind of like in the NFL where a game gets postponed or moved because of some guys break out or a team breaks out and test positive. So that's going to happen more now. It didn't happen before. The NBA just came back yesterday. They had a 9% positivity rate in their first test back. Like 500 players, at 49 of them tested positive, I believe. So we're going to have some of these weird situations. It's not going to be as smooth of a road as the bubble was. It'll be a little rockier, but I'm just happy to have basketball back. So I'm excited about that. Maybe we'll get a couple more Woj bombs before the season starts, but I think that was the biggest deal of the offseason, Russell Westbrook for John Wall. Big deal. If that deal would have happened 5 years ago, that's the biggest deal that we're seeing for years. I mean, if that deal happens years ago when they're both like, we're talking maybe MVPs. Like we're mind blown that deal would happen. So big move there in the greatest league there is in sports, the NBA. Said there's a shot to the NFL before I get to the NFL. And then real briefly, I got to watch last night the Fighting Illini are ranked number 5 in the country. They got to play Baylor, who's number 2 in the country. I've been watching some college basketball, been betting on college basketball, been losing on college basketball. Been losing on these spreads. I lost the other day. For some reason, I bet a Wisconsin spread that was 34.5 so that they would win by 35. They ended up winning by 34. This guy off the bench misses a free throw at the end of the game. I should not be mad at this 18-year-old kid just trying to get an education. What am I doing? To be frank, I wasn't really mad at him. I was just like, what am I doing playing this? But kind of fun. I lost another game yesterday that was like a 12.5, or it was 11.5 spread. They ended up losing by 12. I don't know, but they've been fun to have basketball on all day. Hearing a little Bill Walton calling games in Maui again, that just warms my heart. If those of you have not heard me before, during the college season. Bill Walton's my favorite. He's the shit. Jason Benetti with him on the call. He knows how to handle him. I hate when you have somebody who doesn't know how to handle him on the call and they're just too serious. You got to be fun with Bill Walton, but he is a gem. I treasure him. But the Illini lost to Baylor last night. I think the Illini look good, as their ranking says. The Big Ten's going to be really good, but Baylor's got some athletes, and they're a good squad. So it's weird. Obviously, there's somewhat of a conflict of what's right and what's wrong with having all these college kids playing every day, but I heard something like 80% of the games got played, so that means 20% of games didn't get played because of COVID outbreaks and stuff. And so, of course, there's some, ethical decisions there. Is it right to even be playing these games during this pandemic and exposing these kids to illness? I don't know. All I'm answering here is the fact that they are playing. And since they are playing, it's enjoyable to watch some basketball and to get to see this and have some entertainment during the day and whatnot. And look, these kids want to play. I mean, obviously they're there. And what I'm hearing is, of course, there's going to be some kids who are partying and doing some things that are probably breaking the rules. But for the most part, I think most of these kids are going out of the, above and beyond to play. They're not getting to see their families. They're not getting to go out and do things. They have to isolate when they go on these tournaments, whatever it is. They have to follow the rules. So I think we got to be lenient towards them. Don't get mad at any of these kids if your team's game gets canceled. Especially, I'm talking to you SEC football fans. Yeah, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's like a religion to you guys down there. You're yelling at kids for getting sick when they just are going to school and trying to make it, make their dreams come true and go to the NFL. I don't know what's happening. Okay. All right. One last check here to see if the odds are off for week 13 here, guys. And the answer is nope. Check back later. Still not out yet. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna add the week 13 NFL picks to the audio version of this. But I want to say right here before I give you guys my bets, I won this week. We said it. I say it every episode. We're gonna win this week, and we're gonna get the 5-team parlay. I won. I got 11 right out of the 14 games, 15 games. And so I was happy about that. So that's a really nice clutch victory for us. That's the second victory of the season, which definitely was more than we had all last year. So happy about that. I think what's funny is, so I won this week by one. What I want to say is that if you listen, you know that I pretty much always pick the Bears on the spread picks. Sometimes I do debate it because I'm like, I don't know if they're going to cover that, whatnot. Whatever. I'm trying to be realistic. If it wasn't for this league, I wouldn't be betting on my team that much because you don't want to always do that and just make you hate. I don't want to hate the Bears more than I already hate them. But yesterday, I don't hate them. I love them, but you know what I mean. It's a love-hate relationship when they play this frustratingly bad. But I bet against them. I mean, the spread was 8.5 against the Packers. I thought the Packers would win by 10, and I bet against them, and I won because the Packers won. Kicked their ass. The Bears looked awful. But what was funny was that my couple friends who were behind me in the league, they were one behind me. They all picked the Bears, and I respect it because that's what we do. So honestly, what won me this week was picking against my team, but it was picking with my mind and not with my heart. That's exactly what it was. I guess it's easier to do that when your heart has been broken so much by the Bears that you just don't even have the capacity to believe that they have it in them. Because I really didn't think they had. I didn't think Mitch was going to, come out there and surprise everybody and do something crazy. Although I did see some insane Vegas bettor put $100,000 on the Bears money line to win that game and Mitch to ball out. So I guess when you're shitting money, you can do stupid things. But that was basically just giving your money away. They were down 41-10 at one point. It was disgusting. Mitch is maybe an improvement on Foles, but that's only because Foles was the worst quarterback in the NBA and NFL when he was playing. Mitch is not the answer. Nagy's not the answer. Ryan Pace is not the answer. Ted Phillips is not the answer. The Bears need to blow this shit up. They're 5-6 now. The thing is, they have a shitty schedule coming up. They have played some tough games, so their 5 losses in a row have come against tougher teams. So I mean, we'll give them that. But they still are not a Super Bowl team. They're terrible. I mean, I don't even know if they're a playoff team, but they might still make the playoffs, especially with it looking like it's going to be an expanded playoff season. They're 5-6, and they could theoretically win the next 4 of their 5 or 3 other 5, and then they'll end up 8-8 or 9-7, which might put them in the playoffs this year. Are we going to get the change we need if they make the playoffs? I don't know. the radio show that I always listen to, Waddle and Sylvie, mentioned them on here all the time. They were discussing yesterday whether or not you are able to cheer against your team. I'm not. I was able to answer that pretty easily. Like, I'm able to see the big picture. Like, with the Bulls, the Luka Doncic year, I wanted Luka Doncic so bad. I was like, man, we should take to get him. But then when I do watch a Bulls game, I can't be like cheering against it. I'm still wanting them to win. That's how I feel about the Bears. You want the Bears to do bad so that Nagy gets fired, so that Phillips gets fired, whatever. But when I watch the Bears play the Lions on Sunday, I'm going to be cheering for the Bears. Like, I just don't know how to not do that. So I struggle with that. But yeah, bigger picture-wise, we need to blow this shit up. So I think, making the playoffs might actually be a negative factor in getting to where we need to in a timely manner, if that makes sense. So more frustrating Bears stuff. I'm not going to just, it's like a broken record playing when we talk about them. They just have no offense. It's the same shit. But like I said, we won week 12 with the picks, so that's solid. Let's get a 2 week in a row thing. Let's get week 13's picks right. Let's do that. So tune into the audio to get that right. I wanted to also get the 5-team parlay because we have not gotten that right all season, but I want to make sure that I get that right at least once all season. So I've been going a lot simpler, trying to money line it, getting away from the points, right? Well, I got 4 out of 5 last week. I thought we were going to have the week where we get both. I thought it was going to happen. You know what happened? The Raiders. The Raiders got their ass kicked by the Falcons, and frankly, I don't feel bad because a lot of people picked the Raiders and lost. So that was the one that we got wrong. This week, we're going to go simple, and this week, we're going to get it. I'm going all 5 money line. Odds are only plus 226, so it's not crazy. But we're going to go it like this. Tennessee on the money line, Minnesota on the money line, Las Vegas on the money line, Seattle on the money line, Green Bay on the money line. That's right. I just complained about the Raiders, and I'm picking them again on the money line. What the fuck am I doing? I don't know, but we're going to hit it this week, all right? Once again, plus 226 on the money line odds. Tennessee, Minnesota, Las Vegas, Seattle, Green Bay. Let's go. Count it, book it, take the money. We're out. Thank you guys for tuning into another episode of the David Lopez Show. I appreciate it. Sorry I didn't get my picks in, like I said, but NFL season's going crazy with all these, schedule changes. Everybody's trying to work through the pandemic. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. I love doing this every single week, as I always say. Once again, make sure you tune into the Passion Park Experience on Monday, December 7th. We are excited to be premiering the show. So many good interviews, so much good content coming. And stay tuned for this show, the David Lopez Show, next week, as the full interview that I have coming. There'll be 2 episodes next week, basically. There'll be 2 episodes pretty much every week for the next couple weeks, or for the next long time. There'll be 2 episodes because I'm going to do an interview episode and a sports episode every week. So stay tuned for that. One love. Be healthy. Do something fun. I don't know. Remember this. You're awesome. Peace.